You know those moments? When you see or hear something so completely out of place that it forces you to just stop and question, well, everything? These are the moments that break the frame of our reality. Today, we're going to dive into a few of these events, from weird things in the sky over top-secret bases to the very fabric of our social lives. Let's get started.
Okay, just listen to this. This is the kind of moment we're talking about. This is a quote from recent congressional testimony. Someone is describing footage of a U.S. military missile, a Hellfire missile, hitting an unidentified object, and it just bounced off. Bounced. Off. I mean, that's an event that just shouldn't be possible, according to our current understanding of physics and technology.
And that really gets to the heart of it, right? What happens when our nice, neat worldview gets smacked in the face by something that, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't exist? We're about to connect a few stories that seem totally unrelated, but they all do the exact same thing. They shatter our expectations of what's real.
So, first up, let's start with the tangible world, the world of physics, engineering, military hardware, the stuff that's supposed to follow the rules. We're going to look at phenomena that, according to official testimony, just don't.
This brings us to Vandenberg Air Force Base out in California. Now, this isn't just any base. We're talking about a critical national security site, home to the National Missile Defense Project. And according to a former Air Force officer named Jeffrey Nuccicelli, this base had repeated visits from UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, right around the time it was conducting some of its most important launches in a quarter century.
And the reports from this time period are just wild. In October of 2003, you've got Boeing contractors seeing a giant, glowing red square just hovering silently over missile sites. Then, later that same night, security guards see a craft bigger than a football field just hanging there before it vanishes at what they called an impossible speed. Then fast forward 2 years and it happens again. Another huge craft just floating silently over the base.
Can you just imagine the chaos on the radio channels? This was the panicked shout from one of Nuccicelli's own friends during that first triangular craft encounter. He said he showed up on the scene to find 5 totally shaken witnesses who had just seen this massive object hover just 45 feet above their post without a sound, and then just disappear. It's a really raw glimpse into what it's like to see the impossible up close.
So what do you even do with information like that? Well, Nuccicelli's plea to Congress wasn't just, hey, look into this. He had a specific game plan. He called for independent research to actually take this stuff seriously, an end to all the secrecy and overclassification that keeps witnesses quiet, and, this one's huge, real protection for the people who come forward, so the whole story can finally come out.
But here's the thing. Breaking a frame isn't always about defying physics with giant flying objects. Sometimes the attack is way more personal. So we're shifting gears now from a physical mystery to a psychological one. The question becomes, what happens when the reality being shattered isn't out there in the sky, but right inside your own head?
This is a really strange phenomenon known as gangs talking. The way it's described is basically a form of psychological warfare. The idea is that a group of people coordinate their actions to make one single person start to question their own sanity. And it's all designed to be completely deniable, so if you try to explain it to someone, you sound, well, paranoid. According to people who say they've experienced this, the tactics are subtle, but they are relentless. It might start with things like seeing the same weird hand gesture from different strangers. Then, something called color coding, where you suddenly see the same exact color, like red cars or people in red shirts, over and over again, basically hijacking your brain's natural ability to see patterns. And that's combined with noise campaigns, or social mimicry, where strangers might repeat something you just Googled in private. And even spatial control, where people always seem to be blocking your path.
And the goal of all this? It's captured perfectly in this quote. It's a psychological ambush. It's designed to completely tear down your sense of self, to make you feel like you're constantly being watched and studied and even mocked, until you just don't trust your own perceptions anymore. It's a total shattering of a person's social reality.
Now, not all frame breaks are this unsettling, or frankly, terrifying. Sometimes shattering a frame of reference means inventing a future that absolutely no one else could see coming. Let's switch gears to a moment of pure, mind-blowing innovation.
The year is 1968. A computer scientist named Douglas Engelbart gets up on a stage for a 90-minute presentation, a presentation that would eventually become legendary, known as the mother of all demos. And in those 90 minutes, he basically broke the entire world's understanding of what a computer even was.
To really feel the impact of this, you have to remember what computers were like back then. They were these giant room-sized calculators that only specialists could operate.
You used punch cards, you did batch processing. They weren't interactive tools. Engelbart's vision, which he called the online system, or NLS, was the polar opposite. He saw the computer as a partner, a tool to augment our own minds.
And just look at what he showed them that day. The computer mouse, hypertext, clickable links, real-time collaboration on a document with a colleague who is 30 miles away, windows on a screen, and live video conferencing. He wasn't just predicting the future. He was showing everyone a working version of it decades before any of this became normal. He completely broke the frame of what a machine could be.
So, what do we have? We've got UAPs that defy physics, gang stalking that undermines our social trust, and a tech demo that literally invented the modern world. How do these possibly connect?
Well, here's how it all comes together. Each of these examples, even though they're in totally different domains, does the exact same thing. It shatters a fundamental frame of reference. With the UAP testimony, it's our physical reality that gets broken. With gang stalking, it's our social reality. And with the mother of all demos, it was our entire technological reality.
And that, really, is the biggest takeaway. Our understanding of the world is not fixed. It's not static. Whether it's a piece of future technology or a bizarre attack on our senses, these frame breaks are a powerful reminder that the reality we live in is, well, it's a lot more fragile and a lot more flexible than we usually think.
And that leaves us with one last thought. In a world where information moves at the speed of light and technology is accelerating like crazy, it's really not a question of if the next frame will break. The question is, what will it be and when is it coming? What fundamental truth about our world do you think is next?